Today on social media, there was a great fuss about Femi Otedola, a Nigerian billionaire, and apparently he bought three Ferrari Portofinos for his daughters, one each, and there were a great deal of responses and reactions, especially from Nigerian celebrities. I don't want to mention names, but what I saw actually bled my heart. I saw a number of Nigerian celebrities saying, playfully and then some seriously, comparing Otedola to their fathers and saying that their fathers let them down, and saying that, they were disappointed with their fathers, and saying that, look, that, that this is what they want to do for their own children. Look, you don't really understand what's happening here. What's happening here is the enemy, Satan, is affecting the minds of our people when you make that kind of talk. Because if you read scripture, if you read Mark chapter 12 verses 38 to 44, you see the story of the woman, the widow, and Yeshua, that's Jesus to some people. He was at the temple, and he was at the upper level of the temple looking down, and then he saw princes, great men, rich men putting in so much money into the temple treasury, and then he saw this widow, and she put in a mite. A mite is like a farthing, like a penny, the lowest denomination, and then she put it there. And Yeshua said that woman had actually put in more than all those other people, because they put in out of their abundance. That's the word that he used, Yeshua, an abundance. But then she put in all that she had. So now let's look at that into context. So that means before God does not look at the amount that you put, but he looks at the quantum. He looks at the percentage of that amount according to all that you have. No, so if we take this as our terms of reference, now according to Forbes magazine, Femi Otedola is worth about $2 billion. $2 billion. Now let that sink in. Now, Ferrari Portofino is worth about 164,000 pounds, which translates loosely to about 190,000 US dollars. So let's just say 200,000 US dollars. And then he bought three, and now that gives you a total of 600,000 US dollars. Now, this man is worth $2 billion. So now, 10% of his worth is 200 million. 1% of his worth is 20 million. Now look at that, 20 million, 1% of his worth. Now, the cost of that car is actually less than 1% of his income. It's actually 10% of 1% of his total net worth. Now we put this into perspective. A lot of these people that I saw, I went and I had asked my staff to just give me files on them. They were educated by their parents. Now, if your father is working class, as most of our parents tend to be, your father probably spent, if you went up to university level, without your knowledge, maybe you've never sat down to calculate it, but your father probably spent $25,000 on your education. If, like me, you schooled abroad and you went up to master's level, then that goes up to maybe about 70,000 US dollars. And now, that, if you factor it into your father's net worth, that's probably more than 10% of your father's net worth. To some parents, it's probably more than 20%. And so this is the man that you're now comparing unfavorably to Femi Otedola. See, that's the enemy wanting to make us think that way. And you see, this kind of thinking is pervasive in Nigeria, and is driving a very materialistic culture. It's driving a consumeristic culture, whereby you have, as I speak to you, every day in Nigeria, you've got ships, berthing in Nigeria, offloading consumer goods and returning empty. They are not taking anything, we're not producing anything, we just want to consume. You got planes landing in Nigeria, 747, Dreamliners, all kinds of planes landing with consumer goods, and then they take off empty. Sometimes, now this is a fact, they have to actually put in sand in their cargo halls so that they balance the plane, because they're not taking anything from Nigeria. We've got to learn contentment. Your father, if he educated you, if he showed you love, has actually spent more on you from God's perspective than Femi Otedola. So let's get rid of this kind of culture that is feeding the kind of terrible society that we have, whereby lots of youth want to go into crime. Yahoo. My name is Ronald Mokri, and I hope this message got to you. God bless you.